Welcome back to the Inner Circle Show. In today's episode, Tesla delivery numbers, Optimus going to China, Tesla energy expanding, and Amazon's robots. But before we get into all of that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you do not miss an upload Monday through Friday. Tesla delivery numbers are out later today. At time of recording this video, they have not yet been released. So I just want to give some thoughts ahead of time, and obviously once they're out, I will talk about them in a future episode. So I think if they come out and they are anything better than not completely awful, a lot of people will be pretty pleasantly surprised. I think the general consensus estimate is around 439.3 thousand. Now, I do agree with what Dan Ives recently said in an interview that he had on CNBC. He was basically talking about how Tesla are now entering a period of recovery, how these delivery numbers are potentially going to mark the end of a less than ideal time period for Tesla. From today and onwards, especially as we approach the 8th of the 8th, the Robotaxi event, and onwards after that, this could be a real period of growth for Tesla stock, I should say, because Tesla itself has been doing really, really well and growing rapidly. But Tesla stock, this could mark the period where we now start to see onwards and upwards movement. That is not guaranteed, but it does feel like we are coming out of a period where the environmental situation has been a little bit less than ideal. The Tesla Chinese registration numbers that I spoke about in a recent episode were really, really strong last week. They were better than they have been for a very long period of time. However, this week's numbers are they're not great, they're not awful, but they're definitely not as good as the week prior. But they're still okay. And the Tesla EV manufacturers, they've recently been announcing their deliveries for the second quarter, and they've been pretty decent, including BYD. So hopefully that means that Tesla's numbers will be also okay. But when I think about how much this matters, it's a very, very small portion of my total care, because it's just one quarter of delivery numbers. If every quarter is really, really bad, we do have things to worry about, of course. But the way I'm viewing it is we are seeing Tesla very much shift from being an EV manufacturer, selling EVs, to actually moving away towards SaaS margin revenues. And this is happening very, very soon. So EV deliveries are going to matter less and less and less as time goes on, and the real growth and the real money will be in things like FSD, Optimus, and so on. Talking about Optimus, I've also seen articles such as this: Tesla to showcase Optimus Gen 2 and Cybertruck in China later this week. So later this week, Tesla will attend the 2024 World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai, China, held at the Shanghai World Expo Center. The 4-day event starts on July the 4th. According to the official website, Tesla will feature the debut of its iconic model Cybertruck, and also the latest generation of their humanoid robot, Optimus Generation 2. So what we could potentially be seeing is that a really, really important market like China may show a lot of interest in both the Cybertruck and Optimus. As far as I'm aware, there are several companies already in China that have unveiled their own version of a humanoid robot, but there doesn't seem to be, that much information on these robots. It doesn't really give me much of an insight into how they compare to Optimus, but I do know that Tesla have some key advantages. They have the data advantage, first and foremost. They have the lead in training the neural networks and the approach that they actually take for scalability. They also, of course, have manufacturing advantages, and something like a humanoid robot, you are going to want to eventually be producing that at such a mass scale. And I don't know how well these other companies are going to be able to actually do that compared to Tesla. I don't think that Tesla is going to take the entirety of the market share in terms of humanoid robots. In fact, Elon said himself that he expects Tesla to grab at least 10% of the market, which is going to be trillions and trillions of dollars. I think they're going to grab a lot more than 10%, but there is definitely room for other companies to have their humanoid robots as well. I do think the success of Optimus in the US market, in European markets, and in the Chinese markets as well will depend on a few factors, including its functionality. Of course, the more capabilities it has, the more it can do, the better it can perform, the more tasks it can do, the more skills it can show, the more people will want it. On top of that, we've got reliability, speaks for itself, and then we've got cost effectiveness. And this cost effectiveness, I think, is where Tesla is really going to shine, especially when they start utilizing their economies of scale. One area of Tesla that I definitely don't spend as much time as I should speaking about, and I don't think many people do, is Tesla Energy. And actually, we've recently heard about a new contract in New Zealand, and it's a pretty big one. So we have this new contract with Contact Energy, who are a leading New Zealand energy company, and they've actually teamed up with Tesla to build a 100 megawatt battery. This project is set to cost up to 163 million New Zealand dollars and is expected to be operational by the first quarter of 2026. So basically, this is a mega pack contract. Mega pack by far is the most important element of Tesla Energy, and we are very, very much seeing them scale. I've seen a few recent contracts as well, ones in the UK. I've not spoken about them, but they are popping up here and there for sure. So the whole point of this is to provide additional crucial support for New Zealand's renewable energy grid, especially during those peak winter demand months. It will eventually have the capacity to power 44,000 homes when the mega packs are discharging into the grid. So we've just spoken about that big amount of money, that 163 million New Zealand dollars, which is pretty substantial, but we've also got to think that actually, as far as I'm aware, Tesla will be responsible as well for the long-term maintenance and services. I don't know if that's included in the price or that will come at additional fees as time goes on. I'm not sure, but for sure this is showing us that Tesla's energy business is accelerating. Do let me know what you think about all of that in the comments below. There's actually no Palantir section in today's Inner Circle show, and that is just because not a lot is really happening right now. There's not a lot of news to cover, so let's just move straight on to the other market news. So when I was scrolling through X last night, I came across this post, and it says Amazon now has over 750,000 robots deployed. Each robot packer at a warehouse can replace 24 workers. Packers cost $1 million each, which take only 2 years to recoup the cost. So I have a few thoughts about this. Firstly, that's a lot of robots. And I think people really need to start understanding that robotics is going to play a large portion of our future, especially when you start pairing them with artificial intelligence. It also says that each robot packer can replace 24 workers. Now, if you watch the video, I'll try and play some on screen now, that you'll see that there are different types of robots actually working in the factories. And I did see a comment here that says, at the speed these packers are moving, there's no way one can replace 24 workers. So yes, maybe they are a little bit slow compared to a human counterpart at the moment, but the important thing is they don't need holidays, they don't need breaks, they don't chat to people, they don't get distracted, pretty much work 24/7, don't get unwell, the list goes on. So although they may be a little bit slower when you compare it directly to a human, maybe they're able to maintain that for a longer period of time, and that makes up for it. But either way, I think a lot of people are concerned that, okay, well, they're already replacing people working in factories. What next? They're going to take over our entire job. You add artificial intelligence in. Is it really going to be that bad? I have spoken about this a couple of times before. Yes, some jobs will be completely replaced very soon by robots, by artificial intelligence, by the combination of them. But this will be confined to particular jobs, ones that are dangerous, ones that are boring, lower skilled jobs, if you will, especially at the start of this societal shift. But either way, I do think that the introduction of AI, the introduction of robotics, all of these things that we're seeing changing, they will actually eventually open up more jobs, perhaps ones that we don't even know exist at the moment. We've seen that time and time again. Whenever there's a big change in society, think of the Industrial Revolution, think of computers coming along. People thought, oh my God, we are going to have all of our jobs taken away from us. No, what actually happened is slowly there was a shift, more jobs were created. I think that's going to happen again with this. But I wanted to add this in because this is interesting. Packers cost $1 million each. $1 million for one of these robots. That is a very, very expensive thing for Amazon to be doing. Of course, it does say they will take only 2 years to recoup the cost. So it's clearly cost beneficial for companies like Amazon that can afford these. But I just sat and thought, when Optimus comes into play, Tesla's Optimus robot, When that's at mass scale and that can be sold for, let's say, 30,000, 20,000 per bot, and they are more highly skilled, they have higher capabilities than what we're seeing from the robots currently in Amazon's warehouses, what does that mean? Optimus would be able to undercut the price of robots like this by a far margin. That does give me more confidence that, again, Tesla will take the majority of the market share with this. On the screen now are the topics we will talk about exclusively on the Vault this week. But if you're not a Vault member, thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you for supporting my show, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. If you want to watch these episodes ad-free, get exclusive and extended content, and a bunch of other perks, become an insider of the Inner Circle Vault. Link in the description.